Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maryam. This is your first time here. So I am back with another apartment hunting video, and this video might come as quite a bit of a surprise to you if you've just seen like my apartment tour that I posted a week ago. But yeah, I'm moving from this apartment. By the way, thank you so much for the love. Like, it's just been so well received and I'm so glad because I love making those and I love watching those. So I'm just going to go through like a couple of points here. So I moved here from Vancouver in October of 2023. So I left Vancouver September 30th. I landed here October 1st, and I've been living here since October 1st. So my lease rather, is going to expire on the 30th of this month. So I'm under like, I don't have to leave. I can always renew the lease or go month to month, like my decision. But one of the reasons why I'm deciding to leave is because when I first got this apartment, I had a budget of $2,300 per month, which this comes under, it's $2,275, and I rent out my parking space, so it comes down to $2,125. But then I wanted something really central, just something so convenient for me, like central to like all the key locations I want to go to, just as I get to know the city. So it wasn't supposed to be like a permanent place for me. Although I really like the apartment, I like that the apartment is like well managed and I can get things like fixed or whatever, like my complaints get heard and stuff like that. But then it wasn't supposed to be like a permanent thing. It was just supposed to like find somewhere that I'll be comfortable in within the first year that I'm in Ottawa. And one of the things that kind of prompted my decision to reevaluate whether I wanted to stay here like another year or like go month to month was I have a co-worker, and then like she didn't really like the place she was leaving, so she was exploring her options and like finding other places. And then she came back with like this townhouse. Like, she found this townhouse which she's moved to now, and she was for like 1,900, and then she would cover the utilities herself. And I was like, well, that's a really good price. I wonder if I can find something else like that, something like that. So that was what kind of got me thinking like about still like, oh, I kind of like where I live. Then another thing is, currently at work I do 3 days a week. Like, we're only required to be there, well, as of last month we're only required to be there 2 days a week, but if you wanted like your own personal office space, then you can be there 3 days a week. So I wanted my own personal office space, so I was going 3 days a week. But now we're being mandated to go 3 days a week. So if you want a personal office space, you have to go 4 days a week. So with that, I was like, do I really need a den? Like, there's no point of the den. Like, one of the main reasons I got this apartment, I was like, I love that there's like a separate area for the office. If someone comes to visit me from Vancouver or whatever, like, this couch can serve like as a bed for them. Like, I love hosting and I would love to host my guests and stuff like that. So if I've had just one guest, but she was such a close friend of mine that came to visit from Vancouver, that we stayed on the same bed together and just like gabbed all night. But so yeah, so I was like, I don't think I really need a den, and I just like exploring my options. The third reason was also, I was like, I've come to this place where I've always been someone that I've lived within my means. I'm not trying to show off to anyone. I'm not trying to show that I have more than I have or whatever. But something that has kind of like a reoccurring thought that has just kind of like been ringing in my head like for the past, let's say, month and a half, 2 months, is living below my means. So not just living within my means, but living like significantly below. So I started thinking, I can comfortably afford $2,300 per month, or $2,275, whatever it is, or $2,125. But do I have to? And just creating a gap, like more of a gap between my expenses and my income, like that's just been ringing in my head. And I was like, okay, I'll go out there and find like what's there and kind of see like what's the amenities like compared to where I am. But I had like a couple of things that I wanted to remain forefront. Like, after living here for a year and knowing like the transit system and all of that, I still very much want to live in the Centertown area. I don't want to leave because I don't plan on getting a vehicle anytime soon. So I still want to be quite like centrally located. Obviously I still want to be in an apartment building because I just feel the safest there. I like having like extra security where, like, you know, the people that have access to the building are people that live in the building or have friends. Like, it just makes me feel safer as a single female, like living on my own. Yeah, so like those are kind of like my main my main things that I wanted. I wanted like a building that was like not even new, but like modern in appearance. Ideally, I would like a balcony. Like, the balcony, honestly, when I first got this apartment, it was kind of like I have to have a balcony, I have to have a balcony, but my garden did not do as well as I thought. I don't know, I think I started a bit later, and I was kind of like maybe working with still with like Vancouver, zones, like growing zones in my head, and so that didn't quite work out. I was also traveling around the time where I should have transplanted, so it kind of like, it just reduced my zeal to like want to have a balcony. So I was like, oh, balcony, it's neither here nor there, like I don't really care. But another requirement I had was like south facing. I wasn't going to compromise on that because I have house plants that like obviously they just thrive better in a south facing apartment. Then now I'll go to like the apartments I viewed. I wanted this process to be as seamless as possible. I don't want to waste the landlord's time. I don't want to waste my time. I know like the location I want to live. This is not someone from like another province that is just trying to get like a feel for the place and stuff like that. I kind of know where I want to live. I know where I don't want to live. I kind of have my budget. Like I'm very like familiar with the area now, that I just wanted the process as short as possible. So I visited a total of 2 apartments. So the first one was supposed to be a lease takeover. She was moving in with, out, and she needed to break her lease. So it would be like a 6-month lease takeover. So the rent was $1,750, which compares to like a 2,275 like lease. I was like, whoo, like that margin, like what I could like invest, throw it somewhere, forget about it. But then it didn't have a balcony. And then I started thinking, like my patio furniture. So this goes beyond just like my garden, my patio furniture. I was like, I really like having like my own outside space. Like I would have to sell those like if I get this apartment without a balcony. It was also more of a studio. It did have like a dedicated space for like the bedroom, and like kind of like you can kind of see like its section off to the living room as well, but there was no divider, so like the moment you enter you kind of see everything at once. But then other than that, like the building was great. It was still like in the center town area. It was like walkable to my workplace. It was a bit farther, but it was still like walking distance, like 10, 12, 15 minutes would get me to work, and I don't mind the walk. But after thinking about it, I was like, okay, this is my first apartment. I don't want to just kind of like jump at the first thing and just take it, even though like the price was like, it felt so good to me. But then another thing that was kind of like a drawback, like no utilities whatsoever was covered in this apartment. So like they didn't cover water, they didn't cover heat, hydro, internet, nothing. I would pay for everything. I started thinking, so like the math has to make sense. So I started thinking, if I cover all of this, would it be better to just get an apartment that actually costs more in rent, but like some of this basic stuff is covered? And it was all run by the building, like I think it's District Realty. That's the building that the agency that kind of like maintains the building. And I was like, I'm not sure if like there's now like a middleman between the service provider and you that is receiving service. So I'm like, is that going to increase the price that I'm kind of used to? Because right now I pay directly to Hydro Ottawa for my hydro. Like, does that increase the price? Like, I don't know. So like it's all those things I was just kind of considering. So I just told the girl that I'll just like, she just give me a moment to think about it, and I'll get back to her if I'm interested. Then the second apartment I saw, like this one, the communication with the landlady was like just so smooth. I went to see a viewing. She had just shown someone the building, and then when I saw it, I was just like, it's so good. It was for $1,850, so $100 more, but it had a lot of the qualms I had with the first apartment. This apartment didn't have it. So it had like a separate balcony area. Honestly, it's even bigger than the one I have here. It was like a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, no den, which is like, I'm fine with that, because working 4 days a week, I might even just be going 5 days a week, because I'm one of those weird people that I'm actually more productive at work, so I don't mind being at work, even though I don't really have any distraction, like no kids, no pets, nothing at home. But I just prefer being at work. It also has to do with like the monitors. Like I do a lot of analysis, so it's just so helpful to have that. So this is a bit of a segue. I did used to have like monitors. I actually still have them in my wardrobe in the bedroom, but then I have one of those like big chunky laptops, but each person just gets like one docking station to connect to the monitors. And because I got like my own office space, I use that docking station in my office, so I don't have I didn't have that for my home, so I can't use my monitors at home, so it makes things like so much tricky working from like one laptop. And yeah, so anyway, so like having a den is like I don't care, like I'm happy. I'm happy with that. It has like it is a bit on the smaller side, just square footage, even like without the den in this apartment, the square footage is smaller. But then it has like they cover water and they cover heat, yes, and I cover hydro and internet, which is exactly what I'm doing here. We do have to like there's like the building has something you can kind of like, you don't go to Hydro Ottawa itself like to pay for it, like you kind of pay to the building. So I'm kind of curious to see like how that would work out. So needless to say, I went with the second apartment. I just thought it was a better fit. I've done my I've given them my deposit, and I expect I'm going to be moving out at the end of the month. So I'm going to bring you guys along, empty apartment tour, all of that. Something that I've also just been kind of that's kind of been on my mind, a video I want to film, is just kind of like monthly expenses, because obviously like going from a $2,275 rent to $1,850, it's such a big gap, and like it's created so much room in my budget that I'm so excited about. And it's so funny because a lot of these videos when someone's moving apartments, I watch, I see it's always like bigger, and like I'm like I'm filming like the other like side of like coming back down. And I'm really excited that after like I took my time to get to know the city, get to know where I want to live, where I don't want to live, and all of that good stuff. Like best tips for renting an apartment. Something I found so useful, which is not something I used to use before, was Reddit. Reddit would have like, you go there, put the address you want to search, and you see people talking about like the buildings, problems they've had with the building, stuff like that. And it's so informative, like when you want to get details about the building that maybe the landlord won't tell you and stuff like that. That I usually I think it's always good to go there with an open mind, but also be very cautious of people that maybe they're just spiteful, or like their experience is very personal, it's not necessarily universal, or maybe it's like a problem with their landlord and not really like a building problem and stuff like that. And I usually prioritize like the newer reviews. So if someone had a problem like 11 years ago or something, and I see a newer review that's like 2 years ago, and then they're saying the exact opposite of what the person 11 years ago said, I'll think, yeah, maybe they've gotten that like rectified, because you might love your landlord, or like you have just such a good like the vibe between you guys is just great. But if the building, like if stuff happens in the building, like I saw some things about some buildings where they're like cockroaches and stuff, and like things like that, and the building didn't do anything, or people are stealing packages, people that are like unauthorized to enter inside the building are coming inside the building, stuff like that, where you're feeling unsafe, or like, you know, you barely get your packages because someone steals them, or like little things like that, or like noisy neighbors, things like that. So I found like Reddit to just be like such a helpful forum to just kind of get that kind of feedback before you like go into, so you don't go into like an apartment blind and you're kind of like just dumbfounded by like all the problems that the building has, or the management of the building. Because I found that like a lot of apartment buildings, they do have like an underlying management, even if it's like condos, like they still have like an underlying management that like does like some of this like little things, you know, checking the fire alarm to make sure that that's working right, sprinklers, all of those things, like window cleaning, they still handle all of that stuff. Then another thing I want to say, and this is something I've been doing for a while now from like Vancouver, is when you first enter a building, like you first start renting, that very first day, take a photo of like all the like defects in the house. Like for this apartment now, like just right off of the island, like on the floor, there's a little dent on the floor, and I didn't do that. That was there when I first came, so the moment I saw it, I took a photo of it. I sent it to my landlords, like I took a photo of like all the scratches on the floor, because they're very particular about that. So I know that when they're coming to do the final walkthrough, they're going to also be very particular about that. And so like I want to like have everything documented, and even if you don't send it to them, like once you have it on your phone, you can easily just show, well, this is the day I moved in, because it's like date stamped and stuff like that. In Ontario, they don't use a damage deposit. They just do first and last month's rent. So obviously I didn't pay rent for this month, but I still have like my key deposit of $100, and I still want that back. Like, I've never left like a damage deposit with anyone. I've always gotten my money back in full, and even if it's just $100, I intend to get that back in full as well. And so I've really enjoyed this apartment. I like my view. I wouldn't miss the protesters waking me up by 6 a.m. Actually, I'm up by 6 a.m., but like, I don't want someone forcing me awake. Anyway, I'm going to miss this apartment. Like, it was really good to me. I think the amount of sunlight I got was just so beautiful. The brown cabinets was something that I wasn't sure I would love, but I've just like come to like love. Like, upon my first viewing, I loved it. In the photos, I didn't like it. It looks kind of like poop. But when I said, I was like, oh no, it's a rich brown. It's so beautiful. I've not had a single person come see me in my apartment that didn't like absolutely love it. And so yeah, I'll miss this space. It would like be one of those like nostalgic things that would be like, this was my first apartment in Ottawa. Like, when the whole city seemed so new to me, it's like, this is home for me. Like, this is my haven, and I would always have that. Another thing now, like, you can expect for like my moving tour, because I don't have a den anymore, obviously I'm going to have to declutter some stuff. I can't have 2 couches, so I'm going to sell one. There are a bunch of things I also want to sell. The other place doesn't have an island, so I can have island stools. I'll probably get like a dining set or something, probably something for Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to kind of wait till I'm in like the environment, like the apartment itself, to just see how I kind of function, and even see if I want a dining set. But yeah, I'm happy to bring you guys along on that journey with me. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about like moving, apartment hunting, where I found your apartment, which is probably something I should have mentioned before, I found your apartment too on Facebook Marketplace. That has been how I've been finding my apartments for a bit now. And yeah, I'm so happy to bring you guys along, and thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Leave your comments down in the leave your comments, questions, anything down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.